For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. Israel's escalated strikes on Gaza's southern city of Rafah. At least 16 people are dead in overnight strikes. This comes days after what's being called the tent massacre, when a strike on a designated safe zone with makeshift tents set it ablaze, killing at least 45 people, many of them women and children. Video gone viral shows a man holding a toddler's body with its head blown off in the carnage amidst a village in flames. Reporters Without Borders reports 180 people were wounded. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it a tragic mistake. The strike came days after the International Court of Justice ruled Israel must stop its offensive in Rafah, flouting the world's top court. The death toll of Palestinians has now topped 36,000 from Israel's war. The tent massacre sparked worldwide condemnation, further isolating Israel on the global stage. Here's Ireland's Prime Minister Simon Harris.
The idea that anybody would bomb a displaced person centre, a centre in which people are told to go to stay safe, where parents would bring their children to be safe, and the idea that overnight that centre would be bombed is horrific, raises extraordinarily serious questions in relation to international law. Children are dying and effectively displaced person centres are being bombed, and that's a despicable act.
Ireland, Norway, and Spain are recognizing the nation of Palestine. As of today, they met Monday for a press briefing where Harris spoke. The tent massacre sparked protests in Paris, France. French President Emmanuel Macron said he was outraged on social media. Canada's Foreign Minister Melanie Joy said in a statement they're horrified by the strikes. In Istanbul, Turkey, protesters set fire in the vicinity of Israel's consulate. The United Nations condemned the strikes. Its humanitarian Affairs Coordinator Martin Griffiths called Rafah hell on earth. Saudi Arabia's foreign minister told reporters Monday Israel cannot exist without a Palestinian state.
It is absolutely necessary that Israel accepts that it cannot exist without the existence of a Palestinian state, that its security is served by building a Palestinian state.
There were no comments from U.S. President Joe Biden. In Los Angeles, protesters blocked off traffic on Highway 101 Monday. Congresswoman Democrat Rashida Tlaib condemned the escalation in Rafah and the tent massacre, writing on social media, quote, "This was intentional. You don't accidentally kill massive amounts of children and their families over and over again and get to say it was a mistake." Genocidal maniac Netanyahu told us he wants to ethnically cleanse Palestinians. Closing arguments in Donald Trump's historic hush money trial begin today, giving prosecutors and defense lawyers one final chance to convince the jury their respective cases before deliberations begin. Arguments are expected to last all day, with jury deliberations starting as early as Wednesday. Prosecutors say the former president falsified internal business records to cover up hush money payments tied to a scheme to bury negative stories that potentially threatened his 2016 presidential bid, including an affair. He's denied the allegations and pled not guilty to all 34 felony counts. It's the first criminal trial against a former president. At least 22 people are dead from a series of powerful storms that left a wide trail of devastation in central and southern U.S. over the Memorial Day weekend. In Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Kentucky, leaving some 800,000 people without power, according to poweroutage.us. A possible tornado also hit Pennsylvania. In the southern U.S., an early season heat wave has set records from South Texas to Florida. Forecasters say the severe weather could shift to the East Coast. Farah Siddiqui reports.
Governor Greg Abbott declared a disaster in more than a third of Texas counties.
We estimate there being close to 100 people who were injured. More than 200 homes and structures were listed as destroyed. Another more than 120 were listed as damaged.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear also declared a state of emergency there, and the storms are snarling flights across much of the east and south. I'm Farah Siddiqui for Pacifica Network and Public News Service.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has received a $1 billion promise of military aid from Belgium, which also committed to give 30 F-16 fighter jets over the next 4 years. This came during Zelensky's trip through the European Union. The Netherlands promised to quickly assemble a Patriot air defense system for Ukraine with its partners. A day earlier, Zelensky signed a €1 billion security agreement with Spain to assist Kiev's efforts in its defense against Russia's war. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.